In this new digital-first environment, people are on video calls much more than often. Today we're sharing some tips, tricks, and best practices to help you combat Zoom fatigue. Hey everyone, I'm Charlie, Vidyard's social media manager. I spend my days creating, sharing, and watching my fair share of video content, so I have a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't. Video calls. They're not just a fact of remote work, but a real lifeline, except when they're not. People, especially office workers, are increasingly experiencing burnout and exhaustion from constant video conferencing, a phenomenon that's been dubbed Zoom fatigue. And it's not just at work. In the middle of a pandemic, a time of lockdowns and quarantine and physical distancing, video calls aren't just how people do business, they're how people connect with friends, participate in fitness classes, attend major life events, enjoy social activities, and learn remotely. But when we experience everything through a screen, one that always seems to be watching us back, it's bound to wear us out. So what exactly is Zoom fatigue? Zoom fatigue is the term for exhaustion caused by constant video calls. It's a relatively new phenomenon that came from living in a pandemic. While it hasn't exactly made it to the status of official diagnosis, many psychologists say the condition is becoming increasingly prevalent in an era of remote work, especially during the time of lockdowns, quarantine, and social distancing. Basically, yes, Zoom fatigue is real, but it's not just Zoom. Though it's known as Zoom fatigue, it can just as easily take place on any video conferencing platform, including Google Hangouts, Skype, Microsoft Teams, basically everywhere you can video chat. But what is it about video calls that make us feel so darn tired? Unsurprisingly, it's a combination of factors, most of which boil down to the fact that video calls require more mental processing than face-to-face interactions. Some of the reasons we get Zoom fatigue are: our brains have to work harder, we're always on, we're easily distracted, and our tech often fails us. One of the most obvious solutions to Zoom fatigue is cutting down the number of video calls you have. Luckily, there are a bunch of ways you can approach this. As a bonus, lots of them help with reducing regular old in-person meetings as well. Number 1, establish no meeting time blocks. This works best if your calendar is set up so that your team can see when you're busy or free. Go to your calendar tool and book blocks of time for working. 2, designate a meeting-free day or establish one day a week for all meetings. If you're not the only one on your team feeling the Zoom fatigue, talk to your coworkers about establishing a meeting-free day. This is one whole day a week that your entire team agrees not to book any meetings in. Meeting-free Wednesday is a popular choice. You can do this on your own, but it will be much more effective if you get your whole team on board. 3, say no to video calls that aren't valuable. This is probably one of the toughest options, but definitely one of the most effective and liberating. Challenge yourself to say no to meetings that aren't valuable to you. This could include projects where it's too soon for you to be involved, meetings with people who haven't taken the time to prepare, etc. 4, replace calls with recorded asynchronous videos. In a lot of cases, a pre-recorded asynchronous video message can completely replace a meeting. It enables you to be timely, efficient, clear, and personal. Setting up a video call to provide a project status, kick off a project, or even a brainstorm? Try replacing that meeting with a recorded video. Do a screen recording of your slide deck, or capture a webcam video of yourself running through the updates. Not only will you save yourself some time, but you'll also save your coworkers time. We've got 8 more essential tips and tricks to help you tackle Zoom fatigue. So head on over to the full blog post to learn more.